Good morning, Redwall survivor. Foxpen here, checking in for another fun-filled chapter of top 30 character application reviews from Mossflower Odyssey 4, The Beasts in the Crater. Today I'm going to be talking about the Silly Beast. This category, I gotta admit, I'm pretty apprehensive about it, especially after reading the category, the beast who may or may not be crazy. A lot of those beasts I found could have fit into the silly beast category. A lot of the silly beasts I'm finding too can fit into the may or may not be crazy category. Not sure what happened there, but it's the silly beast it could be a really good category. It could be a lot of fun, could provide a lot of zany action, could also provide a lot of twists in a plot. You never know what a silly beast is going to do. However, it is a hard category to write. You tend to write the category more so than the character and silly beasts. There is a very fine line between silly and annoying. A lot of the time, a quote-unquote silly beast gets voted off very early on in the competition if they can't hold their own outside of the category they're writing. So it's a tricky category. Good luck to everyone who got in. We have 2 characters in the top 30 for the Silly Beast. So without further ado, let's get started. So we are going to start with Malukh, or Malukh. He's a 27-year-old ferret, and he is apparently a silly beast. I am the one true king! Malukh planted his footpaws, one wooden and one flesh, into the dusty road as he delivered this proclamation, scrawny chest out-thrust and patchwork cloak fluttering in the breeze. His audience, a stoat and a rat, leaning idly against the door they were apparently guarding, didn't seem particularly impressed. "Oh yeah?" asked the stoat. "King of what?" "Ta!" The ferret turned his head and spat, then reaffixed his gaze on the questioner. "Kingship is tied to no vulgar notions of territory. It is a virtue that marks one from birth, granting them the authority to rule and inspire the masses. I am king, born and prophesized, and I demand that you open this gate and allow me to reveal myself to the masses." "You do know where you are, right? This isn't a castle, it's a fighting ring. No kings in there, just the audience and the gladiators." The rat seemed more uncomfortable with Malukh's stare than his companion, presumably because his mind was more susceptible to the ferret's overwhelming aura of regal authority. "Exactly, you simpleton. A audience, a crowd eager for pageantry and spectacle. They are in the perfect position to recognize my regal virtues. This fate's forsaken crater shall be the nucleus of my kingdom, the springboard from which I will launch a grand campaign to bring all the lands under my banner, and only then shall the world know the true peace, born of authority." By the end of this speech, Malukh was inches away from the rat's nose and gripping the front of the beast's jerkin with his paws. The guard seemed to have been so overawed by the majesty dripping from every syllable of the ferret's words that he had tried to back away, but found himself trapped against the door as Grand Orator continued his advance. "So you want to fight in the crater, huh?" Malukh's head whirled around as he fixed his eyes on the stoat, releasing his grip on the rat and allowing the unfortunate beast to scurry away. "At last, someone understands. Tell me, good warrior, how does one go about entering the honorable field of combat?" The stoat seemed to almost choke for a second, slamming a paw over his mouth and doubling over, but regained his composure quickly. "I'm sorry. Just a few questions I'd like to ask first. What do you do for a living?" "I travel across the land to gather support for the eventual ascension of my kingdom, searching for vassals pure of heart and strong of arm." "Right. Got any family?" "Regretfully, my good father passed away many seasons ago, and I know not the fate of his siblings." "Any friends around here?" The ferret gestured broadly with his paw back towards the road that led out in a bustling town that surrounded the crater, into the harsh wastes of the Northlands. I am unknown in these lands, for now at least. I have travelled many leagues hence, for I have heard that beasts can win renown and acclaim through feats of valour. It seems an appropriate place to reveal myself to the world, for in this rock, in this far-flung corner of the world, you will see the beginning of a legend that will be told for 1,000 years. The genesis of a kingdom that will last forever. And I who stand before you shall be its ruler, so the fates have decreed, and so it shall be. His high-pitched, reedy voice gradually rose in volumes through his speech, charged with the absolute surety of power. In his eyes marched hundreds of armored beasts carrying his standard. Between every syllable, boots stomped, banners snapped in the wind, and the cry, "For the king!" rose to a cacophony from 1,000 throats. But the moment ended, and all that was left was Malukh. A grin slowly spread across the stoat's face. Malukh tilted his head in confusion, but replied with a smile of his own. Then the guard clapped a heavy paw on the ferret's shoulder and began to push him inside. "Well, I do appreciate the help," he said, trying as gracefully as possible to extricate himself from the beast's grip. "You should know how impetuous you're being by laying your paws on me. I'm perfectly capable of finding my way around without— Hey, what are those manacles for? Unhand me! Unhand me, I say! Don't you understand who I am?" Then the heavy, iron-studded door slammed shut behind them. So there you go. There you have Malukh. A silly, silly ferret. Definitely silly. Might actually be bordering on delusional or insane. So I'm not sure Malukh fits this category perfectly. Then again, that has been a running theme with my opinion in the beast who may or may not be crazy in the silly beast category. So my first impression of this character is I'm really not sure what he's about. He gets captured right at the end of his application. So he's stuck in the crater now for good. Why does he want to be king? Why does he think, he has this divine right of kingship and manifest destiny? What drives him to have this ambition? Is it insanity? Is it just pure silliness? Is he acting? Is he just maybe a grown-up with the mind of a child kind of thing? Who knows? There's some really good dialogue in the application. Most of the character development is done via dialogue. There's very few actions actually specified in the application. What actions are meant to amplify what has just been said by Malukh. He's quite exuberant. I picture this character talks with his hands a lot. He makes all these grand gestures. I want to know why it was worth noting that he only had one leg and one prosthetic. I wonder what's the story with that. Maybe it's part of his backstory that goes towards his ambitions, we'll call them. So Malukh he's kind of mysterious because we, like I was mentioning earlier about the dialogue, it's primary dialogue. There's very little description work going on here. We don't really know anything aside from that he's just popped out of nowhere. He's come to the crater and he thinks this might be a good idea to raise some fans, I suppose. Whatever works, I guess, right? So the mystery surrounding this character propped up against what little information we're given about him. He wants to be king. He doesn't know where his father's siblings are, his dad's dead and all that. This character, the appeal is in the mystery, like what the heck happened to him that made him this way. So he could be a very twisty character if he gets in and is involved in the plot. There's a lot that could happen with this character. There's a lot that you could work in retroactively as well to mesh with this character. So is a real boon. So this character, he's fun, he is silly, definitely. He was a riot to read. It'll be fun if he gets into the competition. Don't really have a whole lot to say. I'm not entirely sure this was the perfect scene for Malukh. Like, it was definitely fun and it got everyone's attention. However, he's being thrown into the crater right off the bat. So it comes back to that we don't really know too much about the character. And it would have been nice to learn a little bit more about him before we decided, to cast our ballot. But yeah, whatever. It was a great app. It was a fun read. And congratulations, Malukh, for making it into the top 30. Going to move on to the next character now. Let me look up what we got. Next up, in the silly beast category, we have Callie, a fox bat, 23 years old. I kind of like to see a bat here. Bats are one of those species that are pretty uncommon in the ROC Survivor competitions. I think there's only been a single Redwall book actually where bats made an appearance or had a speaking role. Anyway, Callie, here we go. You want a what? You have a job opening, yes? Well, yeah, but then look no further. The amazing Callie is at your service. The innkeeper could only scratch his head at the beast as she bows grandiosely before him. Even with those long ears, the foxbat hardly meets the innkeeper's snout in height. You were still looking to fill that job, yes? The fox cringes slightly as the bat stares up at him, eyes wide as she hops about with excitement. You see, Miss Callie, the amazing Callie. Right, Callie, this is a tavern. The bat still stares up at him, unblinking. A vermin tavern, and you are... The fox struggles for words as Callie still looks up at him with expectant, hopeful eyes. Fine... The fox sighs, fairly sure he is signing the beast's death warrant. He shudders as the bat squeals in joy before launching herself to wrap her arms around him. Oh, thank you. I promise I won't let you down. You can count on... Taking 2 steps, Callie trips over the stairs into the tavern, and her new career as a bard. I'm okay, comes a muffled cry as the fox just slaps his forehead. This won't end in flames at all. Once on stage, the bard takes a moment to calm her nerves with a deep breath, immediately gagging on fresh smell of unwashed vermin. That is musky. Very pleasant smell, that. She pauses to get a feel for her audience. A dozen beady eyes peer back at her from the darkness curiously, except for those who are already passed out on the floor, or the ferret spread out over the table with a knife in his back. Amid all this, Callie catches the fox at the bar, chewing at his own claws. She gives him a thumb-up sign and a wink before turning back to the vermin. Tell me, mates, are you ready to be entertained? Out comes a 3-string lute, spinning in her paws before catching it. Tapping her foot, she begins to strum the instrument with her wingtip. The beat is surprisingly lively for a lute, quick and fluid. Even drunk or on their way to being so, all in the bar raise their heads. A few begin to tap their paws with the beat as Callie plays away. Her eyes are closed when her hips begin to move, swaying from side to side. The bat's head begins to bob back and forth as she dances in place. As one, the beasts in the tavern begin to shuffle in their seats. For Callie, though, she is already gone. The song has taken her to parts unknown, and the others are just along for the ride. The innkeeper relaxes, daring to believe that he has made a good decision. He had his doubts at first, but the little bat is really pulling it off. And then come the lyrics. To this day, the fox cannot remember the words of the song, only the high-pitched screeching that suddenly echoes through his skull. The slight wail that Callie puts into her words seems to drown out all logical thought. The vermin react poorly. First comes the grumbling, then the hissing, and then they start reaching for things to throw. Lost to the music, Callie continues to sing, undisturbed. I left my heart in the sea, so do come back to me. The song ends as the tavern keeper clamps his paw down on her muzzle, swooping the bat up in his free arm. Oh, hey, music is done, time to go. He laughs nervously as he gets Callie quickly to the door because the things vermin throw are much sharper than rotten fruit. But I'm not done, Callie cries. Wait, I can tell jokes too. Why did the ferret cross the road? Come on, ask me why the ferret crossed the road. Anyone! She wails in desperation. To get away from you, the innkeeper growls. You know, that is actually rather good. Being given the boot out the door, Callie lands face first in the mud. Slowly, the bat stands. She sniffles. It's okay. Wiping tears from her eyes, Callie manages to smile as she says, Don't fret. You got to play in front of an audience. That's all that matters. Taking a staggered breath, Callie crosses one tavern name off a scrap of paper before moving on to the next one on the list. So there you go. You have Callie, a very, very silly bat. I'm going to come right out the gate and say I really enjoyed this application. It was very endearing. I really dug how the app swung and there was like a plot twist, but it really wasn't a plot twist. You could see it coming. Yeah, she got the job. Yeah, things seem to be going well. She can play. She's got the vermin dancing in the seat. The bartender's thinking this was a good choice. And then, yeah, of course she can't sing. You're a bat. And I didn't see it coming, even though I should have. The whole thing is she can't sing because she's a bat, not she's a bat because the author needed her not to be able to sing. So I like how you're using the species, not quite an exotic species, but a rare species. I like how you're using a rare species to your advantage. That's good. Well played. Something I didn't notice actually the first time I read this application is that it's written in present tense. I only noticed that when I finally got around to reading it. You're gonna have to change that, Callie, just like Aldridge Moore, the stoat who makes things. He's in first person, he's gonna have to change that. You're gonna have to change present tense to past tense. That's just how these competitions are written. But the present tense really worked. Like I said, I didn't even notice it, so it definitely didn't interrupt the flow of the application whatsoever. There's a lot of little things in the application that I like, little details, like Callie gives a thumbs up sign, the vermin starting to jig in their seats, the murdered ferret in the background just sprawled over a table with a knife in his back, and Callie just totally takes it all in stride. You know, this is what she wants to do, this is where she wants to be, so she doesn't let it get to her. Very optimistic character. A silly but sane character can bring optimism into a story that you know is going to be sad. These Redwall survivor stories have a huge expectation of tragedy because it's the very nature. At the end of every week, somebody dies. Callie can be a character to bring back the story to a happier place, or at least a more manageable, emotionally manageable place. Yeah, I really like this application. At the moment, I'm preferring Callie over Malukh just because the application really, really made me smile on the character's merits, not and the writing too, the handle of the plot, so to speak, of the application. Malukh was really great too. He was a great character, and he brought me he let me have a lot of fun while I was reading him. I just think Callie has she could find a better niche than Malukh. So that's where I stand right now. Of course, please feel free to discuss. Like I have said before, I'm not here to step on anyone's face, and it's an open discussion forum. So please, absolutely, if you really want Malukh in there, and let me know. What are your thoughts? Anyway, so congratulations, Malukh and Callie, for getting to the top 30. Good luck to the both of you. I think today I'll be trying to pump out another chapter of reviews. I'm not sure what category I'm going to be doing next, so stay tuned, and I'll see y'all around. Foxpen out.